Do you want to know what a 44-year-old who remains sub 10% body fat eats in a day so you can copy it and get absolutely shredded too? But that's kind of what I'm supposed to say, isn't it, at this point of the video? But in reality, I don't remain sub 10% body fat all year round. I am in decent nick compared to the average 44-year-old. If you were to just copy what I eat, you might not be in the same shape as I am. Well, you might be, but it might not be relevant for you. But that doesn't really help you. In this video today, I am going to show you what I eat. And if you want to copy it, more for you. But I'd be a dick if I didn't show you what I eat. But more importantly, and this is the takeaway that you can get from this video, is the context behind why I eat what I eat. Because if you are like me, a man in your 40s who has kids, who runs or tries to run a successful business, you're being pulled from pillar to post. You know, you get up in the morning and your life is a whirlwind. And then by the time you get back to bed in the evening, you're like, what the hell happened? You know, the principles that I use in my diet now, you can then take away and use in your own diet. Because I do that, live that crazy life of a normal person and still remain in decent nick as well. Right, let's wind back time. I was born 1980, grew up in the 80s, as a teenager in the 90s. I am what you would class as just come from a normal family. We had things like stew and dumplings. We had those Findus crispy pancakes, you know, if you're similar age to me, you know what I'm talking about. We'd have the steam puddings in a tin that you put in the microwave. Don't put the tin in the microwave. We had those for pudding. You know, I grew up from in a normal family. We weren't unhealthy. We definitely weren't unhealthy, but there wasn't like I am now, where I'm talking about protein with my children. We're talking about making sure we've got lots of fruit and veg and things like that in our diet. They were in there because that's what you did in the 80s and 90s. When I was a teenager, I ate a shed load of food, loads of food. 6 Weetabix for breakfast was nothing, didn't touch the side. Most days, my breakfast was in a mixing bowl. Hopefully my oldest, who's 16, doesn't watch this and then start eating his breakfast in a mixing bowl. It was a running joke that if you wanted your fridge cleaning out, just give Paul a call. While I'm not like, yeah, you should encourage your kids to overeat, I ate a lot of food and I was very active, whether it's training in the gym, whether it's playing rugby, whether it's just playing out, football, whatever it might be, I was very active. While this is not necessarily backed up in science, I contribute the fact that I can eat a lot now, which will then become relevant later on in this video. I contribute the fact that I can eat a lot now to the fact that I ate a lot when I was a kid and I was very active when I was a kid. So if you want your children to be able to not have to worry about their weight later on in life, feed them loads, but make sure they're very active as well. Obviously, there's very individual differences that doesn't necessarily apply, but for my unique situation, I found that to be very useful. Being aware of my own nutrition didn't really come onto my radar until in my early 20s. I was in the mindset when I was in my late teens and early 20s that nutrition didn't really matter. It was very much my training mattered, and I could eat what I wanted. As long as I was training hard, I was going to turn all that food that I was eating into muscle. I didn't go in a calorie deficit till I was 26. So at no point in my first 26 years of my life, I ever went on a diet. Over those 26 years, I was obviously, most of those when I was growing up and getting bigger anyway, but that was prime muscle growing, strength building years. The reason why I went on a diet when I was 26 is because I entered a bodybuilding competition. And this is kind of where the story for today starts. And your second pearl of wisdom that you can take away from this video, in that when I was 26, a friend of mine was entering a bodybuilding competition. Or maybe I was 25, either one, 26, 25. Said, you should do this with me. And I was like, okay, never really contemplated it. obviously carried a decent amount of muscle. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Right, I need to diet. I need to get lean as I possibly can. How much do I need to eat? So I worked out that with an online calorie calculator, not as sophisticated. Well, it wasn't an online calorie calculator, actually. It was a Harris-Benedict formula, which you have to work out yourself. Nowadays, there's an online calorie calculator. So I worked out roughly, based on the information that I put in, that I needed to lose weight about 3,000 calories. So in 2006, I needed about 3,000 calories to lose weight. My maintenance was about 3,300 to 3,005. And fortunately for me, that my reality was the same as what the calculator suggested. And that was as soon as I started eating 3,000 calories, my weight started to fall off. How did I know I was eating 3,000 calories? Well, I got my little Collins book of all foods, which have got the calorie value next to them. Not an online app, not MyFitnessPal. It was a little Collins book. And I got a pen and paper and I wrote down what I was going to eat in a day. So the most important things, takeaways for you there, I worked out how many calories I needed. It's not rocket science, is it? I worked out how many calories I was eating and made sure that what I was eating matched those calories. So right from them, I knew that 3,000 calories is the amount that I need to lose weight. Simple. Let's fast forward time, because this is not about me training for a bodybuilding competition. This is what I eat in a day now to remain shredded as a 44-year-old. Fortunately, that 3,000 calories holds true, and it has held true for the last 20 years. It is a range, and it's not an exact science. So that 3,000 calories could go as low as 2,800. It's in that range. So I know right now that if I want to lose some body fat, then that is where I need to be overall. The next takeaway for you is eat towards your goal. Then that is exactly what I do. Depending on the time of the year, what I'm particularly working towards, that picture that I flashed up at the start to give you a little bit of credibility, so you know that I am shredded, that was about a week before I went on holiday. So that was at the end of my cut. I'm actually sitting probably 2 or 3 kilos heavier, so more body fat than in that picture now. The reason why I am is because my goal at the moment isn't to be gaunt in the face, even though I am, because I'm 44. And that's what happens. My goal is to not worry too much about the amount of food that I'm eating, not be in a calorie deficit, be in a point where I'm either at maintenance or even in a little bit of a surplus. So I'm fueling performance because I've got things that I'm working towards that require energy. And if you are reducing your calories too much, then your energy is going to be compromised. But at this moment in time, I am not tracking my food. I am not counting every calorie. I'm roughly eating just over 3,000 calories, close to 3,500 per day. During the week, I go a little bit less. During the weekends, I'll probably eat a little bit more. At the weekend, I like to have alcohol. I like to have a bottle of Prosecco on a Friday night with my wife. If we go out for dinner, I want to have a couple of pints of cider with it. If we go out for a coffee in the afternoon, I want to have a cake with it. Because for me, it's about, having a body shape that I'm happy with, but it's also being able to do things with my family. So I eat towards my goal. But at the same time, and if you're going to take anything away from this video today, which you can then apply to you, make sure, even though you're eating towards your goal, even though you're trying to hit potentially a calorie target, make sure how you are structuring that day fits you and your lifestyle, which leads me nicely into why I eat what I eat today. Because what I eat today is different to what I ate 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it was just me, no kids, no real responsibilities. But now today, I've got a school run. I've got more work that I'm doing. I've got 1 dog, 2 dogs, 3 dogs. We've got to take the dog out for a walk in a minute. I've got shit I need to take care of in my life. So I can't eat like a 20-something-year-old with no responsibility. I've got to eat like an adult. So I need to structure my day of eating accordingly. Let's get into it. I structure my day's eating around 2 things, really. 1 is my training, and 2 is what I'm doing in that day. Breakfast. I have breakfast on the go. The reason why I have breakfast on the go is because I noticed that I'm the most productive work-wise very first thing in the morning. I found recently that if I have breakfast in the car on the school run, it's 1, it saves me time in the morning so I can get more work done. It's as simple as that. And what is that breakfast at the moment? It's 4 boiled eggs and some pecans. Why is it 4 boiled eggs and pecans? Protein and fat in the eggs, protein and fat in the nuts. The protein and fat together. 1, I need the protein to help the recovery, and I need to make sure that I've got a certain amount of protein in a day. That certain amount of protein in a day is anywhere from like 150 to 200 grams of protein for me. That combo of protein and fats keeps me full until I'm going to eat again next. As simple as that. And I can transport it. It's on the go. The boiled eggs I can eat in the car. Anything else, I'm going to struggle to eat in the car. Kids don't like it because it stinks, but yeah, if they want a dad who's in shape, they're going to have to suffer. That's meal number 1, on the go. I'll have a couple of cups of coffee, normally 1 at 6 o'clock in the morning and then 1 on the school run, heading towards 9 o'clock. My next meal, this will depend when the time I have it will depend on what I'm doing training wise for the day. I tend to train about 1:30 in the afternoon. Yeah, I appreciate that you probably can't do that because you've got a normal job, maybe 9 to 5 job, but I've, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, it depends which way you look at it. I work early in the morning and I work in the evening and I work sporadically throughout the day as well. But it does mean that I can train about 1:30 in the afternoon. So if I've had protein and fats in my breakfast, I want to be going into that training session, some carbs in my system so I've got some energy. I want to be fully fed so I've got as much energy as I can have going into that training session. If I eat too close to that training session, I'm going to feel a bit sick. I want to eat maybe a couple of hours before. So at present, I eat my lunch about 11 o'clock. My lunch is going to be some form of protein, and it's either a tin of tuna, it's either, as you will see today, half a pack of mince squished into some lovely tasting burgers with some carbs. And the carbs are a wrap, like today, my famous burger wrap. I will add a protein yogurt to the end of that, a piece of fruit, and then some dark chocolate. And that's my lunch, my go-to lunch. Why? Hits the protein targets, hits the calorie target, digests really well. Training session done and dusted. Do I have a post-workout shake? Do I capitalise on the anabolic window? No, not really. If I was training at a different time of day and I hadn't had that big meal beforehand, then I probably would have a protein shake after. Sometimes I might have a protein shake during the training with a little bit of carbs in it, just to give me a little bit of energy. But at this moment in time, no, I don't. And I'm on the school run, picking the kids up from school, doing the dog walks. In that space of time between picking the kids up from school, maybe walking the dogs, maybe transporting the kids to dancing or to football or to whatever clubs, whatever class thing they're doing, I might grab something. If I was going to have a snack, I'd prefer to have protein. But yesterday and today, an apple I had about 4 o'clock, some grapes, and that was it. Just have some bit of fruit just to tide me over because we have dinner quite early. We have dinner at 5 o'clock, mainly because I had my lunch at 11 o'clock and I want to eat then. And the kids have got stuff to do. I might have to go back to work in the evening and train people in the gym. So that at 5 o'clock time works. What do I eat then? It's normal family meals, to be honest. Today, as you'll see, there's chipolata, chicken sausages, high protein, low fat. Would it be better if we had just a chicken breast? Probably. But today, my wife is working away. She's gone in Glasgow, so I'm on dog duty, kids duty tonight. I've got to make sure they're all in the right places. So time is at a premium, and I'm eating chipolata chicken sausages. What carbs am I having with it? Oven chips. Oven chips. Carbs, oven chips. I've gone for the lower calorie ones. They call them naked ones. They're not soaked in oil. And then peas. As simple as that. And that is a standard meal for our family. Protein based. Yesterday it was chicken, prawns, kind of egg fried rice. That was homemade egg fried rice. That was it. On Monday, it was chicken fajitas. You know, the old El Paso kit. Again, high protein, carbohydrates, as minimally processed as we can manage. But that's it. Then I've got one more meal. I normally have this later in the evening. High protein. So it's the Fajay yogurt with frozen cherries, a little bit of peanut butter in there, and some Special K, some cereal on the top of it. Just a bit of a crunch. Bulk it out a little bit, just make it taste a bit nicer. And that's it. That's what I eat in a day, on a normal day. It is 4 meals. That's it. 4 meals. The most important thing that I think you should take away from this video today is not what actually I eat, but it is the context behind it. So knowing how much I need to eat to fit my goal, whether it's fuel in my training, whether it's trying to gain weight, whether it's trying to lose weight. So I know exactly how much. So I track my food for a period of time. So track your food. Making sure that your food that you are eating on a daily basis fits your day. Your day is going to be different to my day. So what I eat in a day won't fit what you eat. But having a certain amount that you eat and making the types of food that you eat in that day fit that amount and your lifestyle is absolutely key to long-term success. Because I've been doing this a long time. I've been a trainer for the last 20 years. I have been lean and relatively muscular all my life because I know how much I need to eat, and whatever I'm doing in my life at that point, whatever troubles, whatever stresses I'm on, my nutrition will adapt to that. Yes, I'm always trying my best to eat whole, unprocessed foods, but that doesn't always happen in reality because that's real life.
Or where the hell is he?
Karen, where's our son? Will's.
Let's pick him up there. Nancy. What about
Karen, where's Nancy?
Alex.
Alex.
Oh.
Our children don't live here.